Um, in this video I will try to share my thoughts about what people call hell and what people call the devil. I have the perspective of what Hegel calls the negative, which enables me to understand the world and understand certain aspects of what people call God more than anyone else. And I was thinking, why would there be a hell? What would be the reason for the existence of hell? And I found a few reasons. The first one is that if you say that you love someone, the question is, what would you do for the love of this person? What would you be willing to sacrifice for the sake of this person? And a radical way of envisioning things would be, if you're not willing to go to hell out of love for the person that you love, this is not real love, because it means that the fear of suffering stands between you and the one you love. So it's not absolute love. That's the first argument that I could think of. The second is, men generally want to feel manly and strong, and a strong man is a man who is capable of enduring pain and suffering without complaining. And if you're not capable of enduring pain and suffering without complaining, you're not a real man. So hell would be what would enable a man to become a real man and to fulfill his purpose. That's the second argument. The third, which is a moral argument, is that I believe that one is what one finds repulsive. You are what you find the most repulsive, because you are your own other. And among the many repulsive things I could think of, inflicting pain, unnecessarily, is disgusting in my view. Inflicting pain upon an innocent animal is disgusting in my view. Worse than upon a human being, because animals have no consciousness of their own, so to speak. So yeah. And degrading children, raping, or that is disgusting. And from the point of view of the negative, which becomes reason, everything which exists which is made manifest in the world of reason, is a manifestation of reason. And in order to understand the world, reason must recognize itself everywhere and say that this reflects a part of me, not the best part, not the parts I enjoy the most, but it's a part of me nonetheless. And when one adopts the perspective of the negative, there's this quote from, I think, Dostoevsky, who says, if the price to pay to go to heaven is the suffering of a child, then I would prefer not to. So another argument, a moral argument for the existence of hell would be, if I created the suffering of children, then I deserve to go to hell. And I could not complain about being in hell because of what I have inflicted upon them. So that would be the three arguments that I have brought forth were ideas which would explain why a soul would willingly go to hell to prove one's love, to prove one's strength, to absolve one's sins. And another idea, which I find even more disgusting than all the things I can think of, is the idea of unconditional love. The idea that God loves you unconditionally is an idea that I find disgusting. And whatever you do, no matter how corrupt, morally bankrupt, and evil you are, God will love you. I find it disgusting, and a part of me would say, I don't want to be loved unconditionally. I don't want God's love if it is unconditional. And this rejection of God's love is evil. So that would be a fourth reason why someone, the negative, would willingly go to hell, simply because he would find that God's unconditional love is not acceptable for the negative, because the negative is the principle of evil. And yeah. And about what people call God's wrath, Hegel understood that it is God's anger against himself, because God has no one else to be angry against. And there is anger within God because the unconscious agent which coordinates, orders, structures reality, this invisible ordering of reality, which is an infinite intelligence, more than infinite. I made a thought experiment, and I'm sure that if one picked a book, a random book from any century in the history of Europe or wherever, one could find the connections with the circumstances of the time and the influences that inspired the author, and the intellectual connection with the whole structure of the socio-economic, cultural, religious, intellectual life of the time, and that it would make rational sense. So this infinite intelligence, which is beyond understanding, beyond imagination, beyond grasping, it is a part of God is angry against himself, because why use so much intelligence to bring misery and suffering? With all this intelligence, wouldn't it be possible to prevent people from suffering? Why is there so much suffering? It's not a lack of intelligence. Is it a lack of will? I don't know. But this infinite intelligence sometimes gives the impression of a waste. And yeah, I know that everything I say will be held against me, but I need to be honest sometimes, and yeah.